Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another breakdown. Today, we are going to look at an epic commercial. And I don't use that term lightly, but this is an enormous commercial. It makes you wonder, makes you think. I've seen a lot of commercials. I watch a lot of commercials just for the work itself. And I had never seen this or heard of it. But people are out there making this kind of stuff. I think it's 3.5 minutes long. Right? You can get paid to do this stuff. Anyway, it looks great. It's an awesome commercial. It's just, man, I want to be working. How do I sign on to get the 3-minute commercials? Where does that happen on this scale? So it's interesting. It's good. We are going to take a big look at it. Probably not through everything because there's so many different scenes, but there's 2 or 3 things that I wanted to specifically point out because they're interesting solutions to problems that you will find yourself in if you're a cinematographer or a director or anybody in filmmaking. You're going to find yourself in this one situation where you may need just this little tiny trick that we're going to talk about. So let's go. All right, let's just quickly roll through it here. We're not going to watch the whole thing, right? Because we start, big bang, doesn't really happen. And then here we go, science, people. And it's all about diamonds. Somebody finds a diamond. Ta-da, look at this. Gollum. We're in a cave. We're doing a little bit of Macbeth here. Somebody has seen Macbeth. And dun-ta-da, diamond falls. Scroll. Now we're in a forest. I like diamonds, so does she. We're going to talk about this scene, and I'll give it to you. Don't cry. And we're in a car with the lights on at night. Very dangerous, right? This is like one of those scenarios that directors or people often write into things, and then it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense from a story point of view. Why is the light on in the car? But how else are you going to get this, right? They back you into a corner of movie time. Okay, then there's this. This one we'll talk about as well. And that's it. We're in space, diamonds floating. Please buy diamonds. Okay? So if you're wondering who has the cash to allow you to shoot a 4-minute long commercial, shocker, it's a diamond company. Okay, let's start off here. Where's the first one I wanted to do? So lots of just amazing scenes and production design and everything like that. This is one. This is kind of easy, and this goes into a lot of projects. Actually, let's go full screen here. So this classic setup, right? Green screen, they're not really there. I don't know that. This could be a real location. I would just say, in my realm, this is going to be green screen. But even if it's not, and specifically if it's not green screen, so this is an interesting shot, right? Because we got lots of layers. We're shooting into the shadow automatically, exposing for out here and let everything else fall where it does, right? There's no practicals on, there's no movie lighting happening, there's nothing. It is what it is, right? This, maybe if the angle of the sun isn't right on the background, you could bring something in, which is this over here, but you're not really lighting this thing up, right? It's all time of day, it's all schedule, orientation of the cave to the outside world. But the interesting thing here, and the thing that solves a lot of problems here, is not this shot, right? Because, okay, you want to get this shot, you want to see what's going on in the cave, and then you want to see outside, and you like them, they're in silhouette, this is all interesting. Again, layers. We got layers all across the frame, everything that we normally talk about. It's this shot that solves a ton of problems, right? See how, so we're imagining that this is this guy, right? He's gonna walk out here a little bit. We don't shoot that way, or he doesn't turn and look this way, and then we shoot that way, right? Because the amount of work, the amount of extra work that we're going to have to do if we see outside of the cave in this reverse is going to be mind-blowing. Right? The amount of extra work. Like here, we play this, switch around to this, right? Now imagine if the camera is around this way and we start to see the exposed daylight area that isn't the cave. The great part about this is naturally, he's going to be the hottest thing in the image because the rest of it is the cave. So we don't have to do any other manipulation back there for contrast or anything. It just falls to its natural spot within the framework. This is what it's supposed to look like. Your eyes are supposed to be drawn immediately. This is where we want to look. We don't want to see back here. This is room tone. All of a sudden, the pen is enormously thick. Why did that happen? Let's switch back. Yeah, okay. So if you come this way, circle left, shoot more right, and get him to turn his head, you're going to see outside the cave, which is going to be so hot. So these are one of those things where if you're on a location scout, or if you're on a tech scout, and you're sitting there and you're talking with the director about blocking, and these are the situations he's going to walk out here, or even if like you're on the day and the blocking is happening, you're going through the director's block, right, and the walkthrough, and you see the talent come step out like this, you say, yeah, it would be better for everyone if you didn't do that. And you don't say it that way, right? You say it nicely. You say it like it's their idea. Maybe your character wouldn't do that. Have you ever thought about that? And then you never say anything in front of the director, right? Keep your mouth shut. You want to be team player. And then as soon as the director walks away, right, they got other things to do, you say to the talent, listen to me, or you're never going to work in this town again. You don't step past that mark, or my work is going to look terrible. Listen to me. Break you. No, you don't do any of that, right? You're happy. You just maybe drop a line to the director saying, hey, listen, we could shave about 4 hours of setup time trying to balance the interior with the exterior, and it'll look better than all of the work that we do. It'll just look better if the person stays in the cave and we only see their face as they come out, right? We don't want to see any natural daylight, like any raw sun hitting anything, because that will severely mess with our exposure. You can imagine, as dark as they are here, that's what he's going to look like if he walks out here where the sun is and stands there, right? You don't want that. That is a terrible person. Okay, we keep going. So that's that, right? Whoop, good. Point of view shot. Where was the next one? Oh, a little Macbeth, right? This is like Adam Arkapaw should get some residuals on the way this thing looks. Here we go. We're coming up. Oh, what do we got here, ladies and germs? Do we have the soft hob method? Not really. It'd be more if this was here, then that would be, Andre would be proud. But it's not the soft hob. But it almost is, right? We got soft light coming in this way. Got a little bit of something here on the old bag. And lights, interesting. The depth, right, to Miss Stanley Kubrick back there with the angle of this shot. And then we're coming in this way and it's nice and soft and it's down, right? Do we dare bring up the scopes? Holy Father Christmas. Dirt. It is not a lot of level in this place, right, except for our hotspot. And I wonder why that hotspot is there. Any guesses from the audience? Feel free to shout it out. Probably because it would look rather dull without that, right? It starts to look fairly snooze fest if we just don't have anything in there, right? We want to pepper interest in there. And this is all, again, beautiful room tone back here, right? Versus all of the costumes that are here. You notice a little bit of, well, it's like a tan. Not a whole lot of white though, right? Because white reflects the light. We don't want that. We want things soaking up the light, right? This is a cool location. We're going to light it, right? You probably can't touch anything in this location because it's all historical or something like that. Oh, again, just even little hints. Even if you're going to go ugly lighting, like hard lighting, I mean, still coming from over there, you got a little bit of an eye light here from the warmth from some sort of fire, and then deep into the background, that's the L of the room back there. Beautiful, even on these little tiny setups. And then this one. So now we see she's way hotter now and she's being lit from the other side, and we've magically lost our beautiful sunspot there that was there, right? Somebody's blocking it. And then you can see him light from this way, this shooting up, so you get all the goodness of this VFX stuff back here, or it could be real. Who am I to judge what is made in a computer and what is not? But you have to be able to make this thing look good, right? Which brings up the point that if you're going to do, you still have to have the knowledge, even if you're doing animation, which is why Roger Deakins stuff looks so good when he's involved with animation, because all of these things you can just pass on verbally to the team that is doing it into visual effects. Like, you have to know this stuff to be able to pass it on, right? It's just ideas. It's framework. So light from over here, dark this way, a little bit of interest back here, shooting into the depth. These are all good things. It's a bit of a weird angle, but I guess if you have 3.5 minutes worth of shots, you can feel free to go a little bit crazy. And then, look at this. Highlight, boom, boom. Wrap the warmth, a little bit of cool coming from above here, a little bit of room tone on the arm here, super shallow depth of field, shooting into the shadow, and then no backlight, because electricity does not exist at this point. Same thing for her, right? Shadow wraps around a little bit more though, doesn't it? If we go back to this one, darker on the cheek, right? This is normally what happens. Darker on the cheek for Old Mate, and then we come in here to Lady Luck, and we're gonna wrap her light around a little bit more because it just looks a little bit nicer, right? Still, you can feel that glossiness there on her face, and it's nice that you get the little warmth, then you get the wrap around, then you get the shadow, and look at this. Behind the darkness, there's a glow, right? That's a metaphor for the story. Diamonds glow. Okay, from there, she's happy. Could have used slightly bigger, right? What century is this? This is the biggest one he could find? Anyway, we go from there to horror scenes. She gets drowned. She wakes up. This stuff's kind of snooze. And then, this is the one that I want to talk about, right? So this is an interesting problem. I mention all the time that if you're going to be doing interiors, you want curtains and you want shears, the combination, because then you can use the curtains to block out the light. You can use the shears to soften the light, right? And you can use the blocks, the little cutters in the shot because it looks normal. Here, we taking any guesses on the century here? I'm thinking this is like late 1800s, early 1900s. Maybe they don't do curtains, but they do these things, which is interesting because you can see through them. They add a little bit of color. You're not getting too much blown out, but you get this happening. But this is interesting because there's a lot of level in this room. Where is this level possibly coming from? This is like the framework on steroids here. We're not lighting from the window that we can't see from the side, which is what you would normally do, right? Normally there's a window over here that you can't see. You're balancing this window out by pushing a ton of level this way. But the level seems to be coming from up here, right? Why is that? Oh, because we picked a location that has windows above, right? So let those things go blank. Up here, that's where we'll shoot from. That's where we'll shoot the light in from. And then down here, we'll play it way down so we don't have any overexposure issues in the background. So people aren't distracted, right? Again, let's go through it. Do we have to? Framework, hot on the hands, beautiful diamond, and we roll over to darkness. Right? In the background, peppering in light, dark, light, just to keep things interesting and create the depth. Okay, that's the hand shot. That's the open. Then we cut here, same thing. Crazy frame because we're about to roll into it. Same thing, lighting from this way, right? We're always on this side of the room and it always looks good. We can be anywhere in here, especially when we're going this harsh on the lighting. Like if we're not really going for the softness. Because when you really go for the softness, then you really got to bring in the neg because there's not enough contrast because the softness will spread it across the face. If you're not going to go really soft on the lighting, well, you can be a lot looser with the neg because you're going to have more powerful light, which will bring down the overall room ambient, which means it'll be darker in the shadows anyway, so you won't need to push the neg in as much. Right? So if you're going to go harsh, it'll look harsher, but it should be a little bit easier as well. We open up, and now we're in this mode, right? We go from this, where she's lit up, to this, where she's all dark. Okay, and why is she dark? Because the level is coming from up here now. Keep it off of these people, have dark texture in the background to really soak up all of the light. Like if the room looked like this white all over, this shot would be terrible. This whole scene would not look good. But everybody in dark clothing, only thing that sticks out, our little edge light here, those two, we fast forward, boom, we get a little flare. Oh, they would have been loving this on set. It's like, you see that flare? Man, I'm good. And then here we go, we're dancing, and this is what you call, this is an older anamorphic, or this is a matte box, and the first AC was fired. Right, if that's a little matte box corner. Ooh, it's a hard one too. This little guy up here, right? First AC, see you later. Okay, then we're down on the floor. This one's always interesting, right? Because you got cool little floor elements, blobby people in the background, and we're just lit from up here. And this is another one where, these are the ones where, as a cinematographer, yes, okay, I know we have to get this dancing shot, whatever it is, this big one, right? But then as you're sitting there between takes, you know that as long as you're on the shadow side, everything is going to look good in this room, right? You got everybody with their costumes on. You just hit roll while no one's looking or while they're practicing or something like that. And you're going to get these beautiful little frames. You can pick these up. And then these are the ones that you can sneak into your reel, right? Because they weren't really in the boards. Nobody really thought of them. You just grabbed them because it looked nice and you're on the shadow side. And you know that anything on the shadow side is going to look halfway decent. Okay, from there, dancing. We finally get to see our little windows up there. And we are blasting our light from up there. More feet close up. Again, always on this angle. Always light coming this way. Don't be jealous, you two. You two, don't be jealous, right? You had your time 20 years ago. It's their time now. Don't be jealous. Okay, let's keep rolling. And the dip. Oh, ho, ho. Playa. And new lady. She's sad. She's going to give it to her friend who's not sad. And then this is the car one, right? Tricky. Like beautiful lighting in here. For the job that they did, right? You just put something in the ceiling, you put it this way, still frameworky, because you got hot edge there, you got darkness here, no backlight, but this is going on outside, right? This was a nightmare. Before the invention of the Titan tubes, these little sequences were nightmares. That's a good looking shot there too, right? Same thing. Coming this way, you can see it right up there. So it's like here, coming this way. Then we got a nice little glow coming from back here, keep things interesting. But then back there, this is where it just gets completely flat. And on nighttime exteriors, that's where it's tricky is. You really got to think about the background, about how you're going to pepper things in to make it halfway decent. Okay, from there, we're driving. Yes, it's fun. Where's the diamond? There it is. Boom. Diamond time. Then this one is like, this next scene is, I've done a few of these scenes, where it's like, okay, we've done this whole big commercial, but we need another sequence. We need another sequence. The whole crew, everybody's gone home. This is like 3 or 4 days later. You get a call saying, actually, we did promise them 7 scenes, not 6 scenes. It's like, gee, what are we gonna do? We need an idea. I got an idea. Let's put a tube in the background and let's go full Chivo on them. Real wide lens, super close. Let's backlight it with the one lens. They can just be hugging. And because it's a different color, this is the future, right? Everybody knows pink, you're in the future. And here we go, nice Chivo up close. Still do framework. This one is not framework. So which one do you like better, right? Do you like that better? Or do you like that better? You decide on the lighting. And then we go full in tight. Hello, eyes. Can I please have a diopter? Man, we are close to this lady, right? And then we get to the final stuff where this is the last one I wanted to look at. Okay, boys, can we put the 18K up there? Let's blast it through this way. Edge. We're going to have a little return edge here, which is even nicer. And then we're going to play it all dark over here, which is towards the camera darkness. We're going to, again, take up our crazy angles that we're shooting on, super wide lens. And then this is the exterior anti-sun sandwich, right? Because the sun is back here. We're bouncing this way. We're not filling this way. We are taking the light that is there, that was hitting grandma over there. Now it's coming off of grandma in a 4x bounce. And it is coming right across our face here. And then we set the level over here. This close. I mean, you can be very precise with just how much you want to get on this side of the cheek. But this little wrap here and how soft the nose shadow is. Like, look at that nose shadow. Almost nothing. But it's a beautiful looking image, right? You almost see off just a little bit there. Do you at some point? No, you don't. But nice, all the same. Beautiful looking shot. And that's how you do it, right? You set the shadow to camera, put the light behind. If you don't want this blob of a hot spot back here, you either wait until the sun goes further down, or you just put the 18, up here and blast it down this way. And I think we're out. Then we're into space, and we do more of the same stuff in space. Space, still, even though we're in space, anytime, again, if you're looking for what cinematographers prefer, look at what they do when you don't have to care about stands or light positions or anything in the visual effects world. It will always be framework. It will always be upstage key, neg, little edge. That's just the way it is. If you have seen something that is VFX, that is done that you actually like, that is not that, please send it to me. I want to see it because that would be new to me. Okay, that's going to do it for this one. Hopefully you got something out of it. What was the major things? Oh, that little trick just about, okay, if you do find yourself in a tricky location, but there's windows that are above the frame line, this is when it would be a good suggestion. If you're on the tech scout, you're like, there's a little bit of, are we going to shoot anamorphic? I don't know if the clients are going to go for it. This would be a good selling point. Like, well, if we have the narrower frame, then we don't have to worry about up here, because in this shot you would see the window. And this would turn a very good looking shot into a very average shot really quick. So hope it helps. If you got suggestions for commercials, leave them there. If you're interested in more of this stuff, you can find it over on the Patreon channel. You know where to get it. It's in the link, and that will do it. We'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.